Welcome to The Voiceover with your host, Dee Foster III, where we discuss relevant topics that affect the culture with bold, independent commentary. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and encouraged.
Welcome to the Voice Over Now podcast. I'm your host, Dee Foster III, CEO and President of Wake Up Global Networks International. Welcome to another Fresh Fridays edition. You know the spill, like, share, follow at the beginning. Put it in your content because we got the context that we're going to be bringing you part 2 of our commentary on this whole debacle, the whole debacle. First of all, have you seen, or rather, have you heard our Wednesday, this past Wednesday's The Voice Over Today audio podcast? Yeah, listen, go check it out right here on this channel. It's audio, so you can hear it wherever you go. We talk about how the pop-out with Kindred is the model, and especially the model for leaders and especially spiritual leaders. I'm going to be doing part 2 on that on next Wednesday. Also, have you checked out the Believer's Voice of Hope? Y'all, we be working. We ain't job. We putting the work in. The Believer's Voice of Hope every Sunday morning, 7 a.m. I want to say, if you miss any of that, that's what I love about streaming. You can always be a part of the Replay Club. Want to shout out to the Replay Club, but it's something about getting it when it's freshly uploaded. I want to say thank you for all of your support. Listen, as I always say, if you're feeling very generous, we don't have no ads, we don't have no promotions here. We put all of this hard work on in, and we don't ask for nothing but your support and your shares. But if you happen to feel generous during the summer, we ask that you sow a seed of your desire to Wake Up Global Networks International. That's right, we are a nonprofit, and our Zelle and PayPal is WAKEUPP03@gmail.com. It's at the bottom of the screen. That's our PayPal. That's our Zelle. We would be appreciative. Listen, only if you are getting something, educated, uplifted, encouraged, informed, inspired, and having fun at the very, very, very same time. I hope you're having, I want to say have a great summer. Summer is off and kicking. Can you believe it? Next week, I believe it is the 4th of July weekend. And I'm telling you, we are more than halfway through the year, and I'm still excited. We're about 4 months into the Voice Over Now podcast. The Voice Over Today came about 6 weeks later, but guess what? It's one of our number 1 shows, and it's audio. You can take it wherever you go. And the thing I love about streaming is when you go on vacation, you can take us where it ain't like the old days. You got to be there, you got to see it on TV. No, all you need is a smartphone, right? All right. Having said all of that, I want to say shout out to the CEO and President of WPBMediaNetworks.com, April Hall. April Hall, thank you so much for your support and allowing our voice to ring out several times a week on this wonderful platform. I encourage you, as I often do, support this platform. It is giving voices to those of us who have a message. Don't give me all my support. That's the problem I got with YouTube and podcast now. People just be on because they want attention, and you like, huh? What did they say? Where did they get that from? Oh, they peep somebody else's video and but anyway, I ain't on it for that. All right, this is, I don't want to say a part 2 because I'm not giving it the same name, but this is a runner-up on the podcast or the show that I did last week on this massive move to renounce people's affiliation with the Divine Nine, with their fraternity or with their sorority. And if you haven't heard part 1, I don't have time to go back, but go back and listen to last week's show. And probably the more I study this and the more I get into this, that's what I love about podcasting. This is probably going to be a part 3 because I doubt. And see, with this series, I want to be so in detail because there's been details given to the renouncers. And so as a, I don't want to say defender, but as a counter voice, I want to be just as detailed. So probably it will, I know not probably, it will be a part 3. Y'all staying cool? I mean, it's been, California ain't this hot. California's hot temperature, but they don't have the humidity. And that's what, So the title of this is, You're Doing Too Much. Y'all just doing too much. Now, I'm probably going to get a whole lot of thumbs down on this, April J, with my next statement. But out of all the genres of music, I would have to admit gospel. I know, pray for me. I know, pray for me. Is my least, or it has the smallest amount of songs. I'm gonna keep it nice in my playlist. Now, for me personally, there are only a few gospel artists that I have in my playlist. One is Richard Smallwood, not because he's from DC, but the brother, in my opinion, writes meaningful music. And I mean, Richard music be taking me in. It's something anointed, in my opinion, about Richard's music. The next person I have in my playlist is the maestro Donald Lawrence. Not only a gift of writing to me, but his singers can sing. And you know what? With even Richard, you know what? I never thought about this. With both of them, they pretty much have maintained their same group since origin. You know, most people, they get different singers and be a different, I'm not talking about one or two people, right? But I'm talking about like the whole background singers change. You can't say that with Donald. You can't say that with Richard. That says something to it. Another one I like, her music is in my playlist, is Yolanda Adams. Yes, I know. And I always keep the personality. So I love me some Yolanda. The battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. Oh my. All right, so I'm not gonna run you my playlist, right? But anyway, so my biggest pet peeve is that with gospel music, a lot of times, and you hear this on Sunday, that's why I thank God for the YouTube and the button of fast forward. Don't know when to cut it off. I mean, the song starts off soul stirring. Yes. And then they get to the end and they keep staring. And they keep staring. And they keep staring. And they keep staring. Until it ain't nothing to stare. No more. I told you I was gonna get some thumbs down. How many of y'all agree though? Come on, give me a thumb up on that. How many? Y'all know it's true. Y'all know what I'm saying is true. And unlike jazz, that probably has the most, and then R&B and some hip hop, right? I don't think they drag on like that. I don't know what it is. No shade. No. But in my opinion, soon as you get there and you say, I got it. This music took me there. It went right out the window. Why? For me, because they be doing too much. You want to take it up 5 times octave and you want to keep repeating and then you want to quick. Hey, I love remote. Next, don't y'all love remote? I thank God for the remote as much as I do caller ID. But anyway, doing too much, what is that? Let's break it down. Is is in my opinion, and all of this is in my opinion. No pun, no shade to the gospel artists. There's some other great gospel artists, and everybody doesn't do that. You know, you got to babysit when it comes to church, so they get offended. Everybody don't do that. That's not in everybody. That's what mostly I've sat under. All right. So anyway, yes. So doing too much is when you made your point, and in the attempt to convince those who you made your point with to side with your point, you overemphasize your point until now your point becomes a complete turnoff. I mean, you started off good. We with you. We got you. We understand. But then you keep going on and on and on. And now you're doing too much. You made your point. Like a lot of offerings. You made your point. We need to give. But you go on. And you go on. And you go on. And that's when I thank God for the remote. So you emphasize your point until your point is now a complete turnoff. And that is exactly the way I feel about those who are calling for the world to denounce their membership as part of the Divine Nine. I believe you made your point, and now you're doing too much. Did I say share this? Especially if you are a frat and you have frat brothers, or if you're a soror and you have share this. D. Foster is speaking on. I haven't heard too many counter voices. I hear all the anti voices, but I'm having a counter. That's why I'm called the voice over all of that noise. If you missed last week's show, watch the video to catch up. But if you're unaware, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're unaware what I'm talking about, I'm speaking about there seems to be an internet. That's the only thing about the internet. An internet, you can hide behind the keypad. An internet movement to get persons to denounce their membership to their fraternity or their sorority, the Divine Nine. Now, I want to repeat this, because this is going to be key. Probably not this week, but next week. Because remember, I introduced the subject last week. I introduced the HEPA last week. This week, remember, I promised you I was going to get into their gripes and kind of offer a balance and let you see the other side of their gripes. Now, the Divine Nine, founded mainly at HBCUs. Now watch this, because why something was founded is key. That's key. I've not heard many denouncers mention this. This is key. Begin as a way to connect and build support networks. In the face of exclusion, I want you to hear this, from predominantly white Greek letter organization. They were building something of their own. They were not permitted to enter into smart circles and other organizations. Back then, I think 1906 was Alpha Phi Alpha, one of the first, right? And of course, this was started with, I think, 7 brothers on the campus of Cornell University. Think about 1906, Cornell University excludes. Who's going to let you be a part of this social studies club? Who's going to let you be a part? So what's the problem? You go and start your own. I applaud you. So it wasn't started for drinking, smoking, laying up. Yeah, of course it involves maybe all of that. Most organizations do. Especially the oh, okay. All right. Share this. All right. They were started because other Greek organizations back then would not allow them to be a part. And they were saying that we have brilliance, we have genius also, and we want the right to be a literary part of this. But so you won't let us in. We'll just go and organize our own on the HBCU university campuses, right? So follow me. 4 sororities and 5 fraternities known collectively as the Divine Nine made up the National Panhellenistic organizations. Now watch this. Key evidence in my commentary today is this statement of why they began. Not what some of them have become. I understand hazing has been bad, and by right. I understand there's been abuse. Yes, but come on. You open the door. Let's walk all the way in it, big homie, big sis. Let's walk all the way in it. Don't keep it cracked. Let's fling it wide open. What organization don't have some corruption? What organization, including, has not? What organization got people that don't drink, don't party? Come on. Keep it real. Gotta keep it real. 100, $1. Don't bring no $50 up in here. No 50 cent allowed. All right. As I mentioned on last week, that this show and this topic, and now I think this is very key because I want to be sensitive to everybody's conviction, right? Because everybody has a right to their opinion. It's neither taking up for nor throwing shade on persons regarding what they have been led to do. So I'm not here to criticize the person who says, well, with my conviction in my spiritual walk, I'm led to disassociate, and that's cool. I'm not here to throw shade on that. I'm not here to take up for the organization. I'm not here to be anti the organization. That's not my point, and I made that very clear on last week. So, but what I am here to do, as I promised, I am here to say not what people are doing, right? I mean, you say this ain't the way I want to walk. I don't want to go to this church no more. That's fine. And I dealt with that on last week's show. Go look at it. So I'm not here to throw shade, but I am becoming a counter voice because I don't hear a lot of them. Now, I'm not saying there are none. I hear people skip over it. I hear people throw stones behind pulpits, right? But I haven't heard many, I'm not saying there are none, loud, clear, raw, uncut, as raw, loud, and clear as the denouncers are. That's just me, have not heard many, I didn't say any, many counter voices who are just as loud, clear, raw, and intentional about being a counter voice for organizations that have done good, help people, and etc. And I'll get into all of that in our community. I have not heard. I'm chosen. I decide to be. This is what God laid on my heart. And not to force anybody to stay, but just to say, you got to stop forcing people, trying to manipulate people. You should hear it, y'all. You should hear the sad music. And it's kind of almost like haunted music in the background. And I'm going to get to that. Like evil spirits are inhabiting your house because of these, and they almost cry. And if you didn't know better and discern spirits, you would really be convicted to leave. But I'm the voice who's saying, if you leave on a spiritual conviction, and not because a YouTuber got on and gave you all the dramatics and doing too much. Last week I said leave quietly, right? All right. This podcast is for education, content. That's one thing I appreciate about April Hall. Ever since I've known her and been on all her platforms, she encourages, whether it's the radio host, the podcaster, the YouTube, to bring information, not just entertainment. This platform was built on information. That's why when I come before you, yeah, we're going to have fun, I'm a joke, but I'm going to have the proof up in my booth. I'm going to give you the proof and not a reaction. And if I do give you a reaction, it's going to be my own commentary that I'm reacting to. Anyway, so I ain't got no bones. I ain't got no beef with anybody who says this ain't for me no more. Like a church, like a job. Life changes, things change. But like a church, like a job, it ain't that you leave, it's how you leave. And leave, as I said last week, not trying to take half the team with you to your new job. Or just because you leaving and you got better with the company, you want everybody else to be better with the company and leave also. You can't play on nobody else's conviction. That's what I'm here to say. You ain't got a right to play on nobody else's conviction. Do what you do quietly. You're doing too much. You got the sad music, you got the tears, you got the dark background, you got the spiritual persona, and I'm gonna get to that personal piety that I'm gonna get to all of. That's why I said it's gonna be three weeks. Don't miss one. And share it, yes. And if you have a person to denounce, share it. I don't use this platform as a gangster keyboardist. I say what I say, and I don't make no bones about it. That's why we say, if you like it straight, no chaser, you at the right place. All right. So today, as I promised, I'm going to take a few issues and perhaps bring balance to the reasons that many that I have heard. Now, it's a lot, but I'm talking about the main ones I have heard that keep popping up with every YouTuber. The ones that I have heard that are stating to denounce, in stating their denunciation of their affiliation. Now, how are these denouncers doing too much? Because I got to answer that. I said the title of this is, you're doing too much. The first way, and I take issue, assigning blame. Oh yeah. I've heard very few take personal responsibility. All right, let me ask you this. Let's play a question answer game. All right, did I tell you share this? Did I tell you share this? Share this to your favorite soda. Share it to the one that denounced. I can be reached the voice over the globe at gmail.com. The voice of the globe at gmail.com, and we can discuss it and debate it any space. What I say, I'm convicted. That's why it's important when you get in front of a camera, you believe and you can back up what you say. Because if you ever challenge, you can't have the chokey-okey. You can't choke. Because we all have a right to be challenged about things we say. But it's no problem if you're really convinced. But if you're only repeating what you heard another YouTuber or another denouncer say, that's issue. That's issue. And I don't have that issue. So first, how they doing too much? Number one thing I've heard, blame. That's all I've heard, blame. Before I even get into what they blame. Now, let me ask you this. I always say, I don't tell you what to think. I just want you to think, right? So this is a question that just wants you to think. If a person is in a fraternity or a sorority, before they are saved or enlightened or awakened, whichever one. And because of their newfound salvation, their newfound epiphany, right? Because that happens, right? Their newfound awakening, they are led to disassociate cool. In other words, I'm disassociating because now I'm saved and I see things different. Cool. I'm disassociating because I'm more aware now and this is not for me. Cool. All right? Cool, because this is what I've been hearing. Cool, cool, cool. I'm disassociating because God has revealed some things to me that's not right for my life. Cool, man. We all got to do it. Right? I hope you leave a relationship that ain't right for your life just as quick. Because there are things that were in our life as we grow, they no longer fit. Right? Okay. Now, let me ask the question though. Because remember I said all of that was cool. I respect that. Because that's one of the things I've been hearing, right? But upon personal conviction, where has the organization and how has the organization changed? Because remember you said you were leaving because of personal spiritual conviction. But yet, in that vacuum, there seems to be a sudden moral issue with the organization. Now let me ask you a question. The organization, let's use Alpha Alpha, been there since 1906. You just joined in college or grad, whatever. A few years compared to 1906. Okay, you said the organization doesn't fit you anymore. Okay, I get it. But why are you blaming the organization? See what I'm saying? Not taking responsibility and placing the blame game. Why don't you leave the organization guiltless? You changed. The organization didn't change. But that's not what I'm hearing. There is all of these issues. Isn't it interesting though? Isn't it interesting? For however long you were a part of that organization, until you had your epiphany that the organization served you well. You wore your colors with pride. You bragged that you crossed over and to do all that work and then leave. You bragged that you were a proud member. You are a soror. You are a bro. You know, whatever it is. And it served you well. Excuse me. You had connections. You may even have the job or entered into a grad program because of your affiliation, or you met somebody powerful because of your affiliation. So the organization served you well. The organization served you well, and I'm sure you served it well, right? Now, when you, and I'm not being funny here. I'm trying to make this as light as possible, but I can't compromise on what I'm sharing. So when you denounced, when you had your come to Jesus moment, who changed? I'm not saying it was a bad change, okay? Don't hear. I'm not saying, I just said, who changed? Okay. Did the organization change its mission statement? I haven't heard any of the Divine Nine say they've changed. They may have modified it over years, but they've changed their mission statement. They're no longer helping communities. We no longer develop leaders. We no longer do community outreach. We no longer prepare students for college. Because that's what you join under, and that's what you expect the organization to stand for, by right. But now, you disassociate. All I'm asking, I didn't say either was wrong. I just want to know who did the changing. Oh, okay. Okay. Did they? Oh, because I don't know the inner operations of all the Divine Nine, right? But did your segment or chapter ask you to denounce Jesus? Did your segment or your chapter force you into some immoral act that, okay. So if none of those are true, assuming, then you would have to answer the question. I cannot put the blame on the organization. I changed. That's all I'm getting at. And I did not say the change was a negative change. Just take the blame. Stop soiling the organization and say, you know what? Yeah, I changed. And there's no harm with that. We do that with everything. People come, I pastored for years. People say, you know what? This church is no longer for me. Well, the church has been doing the very same thing. Is that either your needs are different, your desires are different, or what you need spiritually, and that's understandable. But don't say they changed in the church. No, you changed, and you just got to own it. And that's what I've not heard in these denouncements. That's my first point of why they're doing too much. They want to point the finger and point the blame instead of saying, I changed. That's where it starts. Because of your spiritual conviction, you decided it's best for you to disassociate. And then you do it right. You write a letter. Give up your colors. Don't wear those colors anymore. Turn all your paraphernalia in. If you're going to be disassociated, be disassociated with something altogether. Don't try to hang on so you can catch a little bit of their shine without really being a part, because I'm seeing that also. That means turn all your letters, go take all the paraphernalia, take it off your wall, take your certificate, write a letter, say, I officially renounce and denounce my affiliation, effective. Thank you for all of your service, all that you've done. I'll keep you in my prayers. And here is all of my paraphernalia and my certificate. If you really denounce it. If you're really denouncing. All right. How they doing too much? The second way. The claims that these organizations are just filled all of a sudden with demonic signs and symbols. This one trips me out. And I'm going to show you something before I end today. The claims that these organizations are filled. The one that I have heard criticized the most is the one that belongs to, I think it's Alpha Phi Alpha, the Thinksmen, which is, I believe, forgive me if I get this wrong, I'm not an alpha. If I'm correct, is a part of their shield. It's like the pyramid. I've seen it 1,000 times because I have friends who are, and they wear it and they have it on there. So the Thinksman is the shield. It's part of the Alpha Phi Alpha's identity. And the denouncers claim that this symbol is a symbol of idol, pagan worship, where people bow down to it as a false god. Now, I'm not denouncing, I'm not saying that's wrong. And I'm sure at some point, if you want to do the historical background of a lot of things we use, and I'm going to reuse one right now, we would find out its original use and its original purpose might have been on the darker side. So I'm not denouncing that. But I'm familiar with the Finksmen. I've done social studies, and I understand that one of the reasons a lot of people even have that image in their home that are not a part of a fraternity is because it takes a historic look at the past of African Americans, and it represents amongst all that we have gone through, endured, dealt with, been handled, the achievements of Black people around the world, and it stands, in my opinion, as a symbol of notable contributions that we have made. And I'm sure most people say, now, are there people who bow down and chant and worship it? I don't know. They may. But I don't think that's what the alphas do. And I've had some brothers, and I've asked them this question. So a lot of questions, I had to make sure I'm bringing you right information. No, that's the shield. The voice over, carrying the world. Somebody gave me this. That could be a Roman god. That could be back from Roman days. And it is exactly what it is. It's an emblem of what my assignment is. But do I worship it? Do I pay deity to it? No. And I'm not going to get rid of it. And it doesn't bring demons in my space. Share this. Share this. It's the Finksmen, and there's some others I'm going to get to, of their complaints and how they're doing, is a symbol of what we have achieved, the pyramids that we built. Because if we listen to some of you, and you are African American, you would totally wipe away or whitewash all of our history with your piety. And we refuse to let you do that. And I'm not fussing. I'm laying down the facts. I'm a counter voice. I'm dealing with a very controversial issue that most people won't deal with forthright like this. I'll take the assignment. Because there has to be a counter voice, a voice of balance. And yet, I'm not denying everything that's been said. There's some truth, but bring it into balance. That's maturity. You're doing too much. Doing too much. To my knowledge, I've not seen anyone bow down and worship the Finksmen as if the Finksmen was Jesus. And here is where you need to buckle your seatbelt if you are a Christian. Talking about the signs and the symbols and the history of it, right? And how they bring spirits. And you can't get delivered from those sex demons because of those spirits in your, you should see it. You should see it. You should see it. You should see it. That's why I got to be a counter voice, because I've seen it. And it can be very persuasive and manipulative to somebody who don't know. And they'll go running to denounce. And if you do, just listen to this. And if you think you know somebody who's thinking about denouncing, send them this. And then they can make their decision intelligently with balance. So, how often you've been driving down the street and you looked on the back of a car and you see a fish symbol? Well, a lot of times, right? To the person who owns the car, most of the time, the fish symbol is to let the world know that what? Come on. They are a Christian, right? A fish symbol. But wait. That symbol originally has nothing. Told you. thumbs up, to do with Christianity. The Ichthys, ICHTHYF symbol, or the fish symbol, which it evolved into, is a sign typically used to proclaim an affiliation or an affinity for Christianity, like the Sphinx. The fish was originally adopted by early Christians, watch this, because there's another thing I'm going to talk about, as a secret symbol. Wait a minute. And right there, you got to denounce Christianity, because another thing I've been hearing y'all say that I'm going to deal with next week is too many symbols, too many secrets. Well, this fish that is on the wall in most Christian churches, especially Methodist and Catholic and now Baptist, on the ceiling, on the wall. See, y'all, that's why I said, I put my work. I don't come here with no reactionary nothing. I'm going to do my homework. And if I react, it's going to be with my own investigative, studied commentary. Not an echo what I heard somebody else say. Because I'm not going to put my reputation on believing and hoping the other person did their homework. And neither should you. The fish was originally adopted as a secret symbol. But through many variations, it appeared as a sign of Christianity around the 80s. You can Google it. I ain't telling you nothing that's secret revelation. Furthermore, this symbol originated into Christianity. It originates into Christianity from out of the Roman Catholic Church. Furthermore, if you do your research, ex-frat, ex-soto, if you do your research, if you are a Christian, if you do your research, this was used initially as a means of pagan worship. I'm done. And I don't want to get into, I won't talk about the cross originally, because you can't handle that. Yeah, the fish that's on the back of the car. The fish that's in many churches, Christian churches. So let me ask you this, because you got to swing the door open, bruh. Sis, you can't leave it cracked and available to get in and out when you want to. We're going to walk in this door together, but I'm swinging it open. Are you going to denounce Christianity because the Christian church is symbolized with a symbol that used to be used for pagan worship, that nobody uses it for pagan worship today? It's a symbol of a faith affiliation. But like the Sphinx on the shield, nobody worships the fish. Nobody worships the Sphinx. So let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bang. You rolling out the church too? You rolling out the kingdom too? You rolling out of Christianity too? Because that could be demonic. See why I have to address this? There's no continuity. In my opinion, there is zero continuity. So does it mean that the person who has the fish symbol on the back of their car worships the fish? Should I denounce Christianity because it has a pagan symbol? Original pagan symbol, like you say, fraternities and sororities have all these demonic symbols of paganism in Greek. Wait a minute, your pastor, you were impressed when he said this word love is agapo in the Greek. Don't that impress you? So, I'll get to that. Don't worry. I got a lot of stuff. This may be 4 parts. This may be 5 parts. Remember when years ago Dr. Fred Price taught race, racism, and religion? And it went for like months because he started off something he thought was going to be maybe a month or so, but the rabbit hole went, this is kind of what I'm getting here. And the more I'm hearing, the more I'm digging. And hopefully you will too. And hopefully you'll come back next week. All I'm saying is, if you're not going to leave the Christian church, be consistent when it comes to signs and symbols. Stop shifting the blame. You're doing too much. I love you, but you're doing too much. And say, I've changed. Well, there will be a part 3. Don't forget, check out next week. Share this, like it, follow us. Check out Sunday morning at 7 a.m. We have the Believer's Voice of Hope. The Voice of Hope Connection. The Voice of Hope. I always get it. The Voice of Hope Connection. 7 a.m. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments in the chat, and I can be reached, the voice over the globe, one word, @gmail.com. Hey, whether you agree with me or not, I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you at least taking the time to listen and consider. Please like it, please share, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're led, we appreciate your generosity as a sign of your appreciation for all of the hard work in the content we bring you. Until next week, the Voice Over Now podcast. This is D. Foster 3 reminding you, you have a voice. Keep using it. Peace.
Thank you for being a part of The Voiceover. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected to our upcoming shows and guests. Instagram @The Voiceover Radio. Twitter @DPropheticI. That's the letter D, prophetic, EYE. If this show has enriched you in any way, please share The Voiceover among your circle. Until next time, keep allowing your voice to be heard.